This is Life Motivation with Julio Reyes, and I'm your host for today, Miguel Ortiz. Should we then first go off of our actions, that our actions will lead us to better thinking, or is it better thinking will lead us to better actions?
It's a combination of both. But that starts in our minds. What are you telling yourself? It goes back to the mindset. It goes back to you encouraging yourself, you speaking good words over yourself. You know, you can be in an atmosphere that scenario, the first, you know, you ask a bunch of questions and saying, hey, there's an avatar. That's why I say you're describing a lot of audience, you know, people in general. Even if an individual is successful, you think for 1 second that person doesn't go through mental struggles? Do you think for 1 second that person isn't, you know, going through a mental hurdle, you know, of saying, man, can I really do this? You know, and you have to fight that opposition. You know, but if you can get to a point where you transform your mental thought, okay, into action, okay, then you put works behind it. Then there's action behind it. But it starts in our minds.
So I've heard of things like this. I mean, I know the Bible makes reference to pick up your armor, you know, the word of God. I know there's spiritual characteristics like humility, acceptance. So let's say if I have a fear or worry, then I'll counter that, or I'll combat that, you know, with its opposite, you know, with honesty.
The word is a two-edged sword.
Acceptance, contentment,
yeah,
humility.
It'll cut all that.
So these are some of the things I think I've heard of. You know, do you have anything to say about being able to combat, being able to have those things in our minds, so that way when we're faced with a lack of motivation, I have something, you know, to combat those thoughts with.
Well, my personal opinion is the word is perfect. The word is perfect, whether an individual believes it or not, whether individuals in our audience choose to believe that or not. It's kind of like, well, how do you know God is real? Well, I spoke to him this morning and he spoke back to me, you know, because that's my relationship. You know, that's what I'm being led to day in and day out. And that's what helps me. So in my personal opinion, the word is a guide for us, you know, and it's something that we can stand on and you know what, test it out. You don't believe it? That's fine. Test it out. I bet you you'll find it to be true. You know, and that is shown to be my life source. That is shown I can't speak for my audience and what other people believe. And I'm not trying to push my beliefs on any one individual listening to us. My audience in general, our audience, you know, I can't push that upon, but all I can speak of is from my testimony, from my experience, from my mindset, from the things that I have been through in order to get myself in the position that I am today. You know, the word has helped me to get there. It has helped me along my journey. It has encouraged me. It has encouraged me, you know, and what we're referencing the power of words, you know, in general. So if we're speaking good things because of the things that we're telling ourselves in our minds, then it goes from our mindset to let me speak life over this situation. Let me speak life over this circumstance. And then it becomes action. And then you begin to see it prove itself over and you go, wow, okay. This is something greater. And if I think a certain way, if I'm choosing to speak a certain way, then there's going to be some life behind that. You know, people speak things into existence every single day and never realize it. You know?
Yeah, I always believe that, you know, if you have a mind somewhat like mine, if you have racing thoughts, what I usually do to calm myself down is I'll just get into some kind of book. And potentially that this book will hopefully have some kind of positive
guidance, affirmation.
So sometimes I don't really have, or I can't find a positive affirmation per se. Mm-hmm. So what I'll do is I'll read a book that, you know, whatever the book is about. But by having those words and I'm listening to those words, in that sense, I'm listening to them. That's like my own positive affirmation. I won't roll over and necessarily grab the phone. I roll over and grab the book. And so it's right away I'm start thinking about what was I dreaming about? What was I doing? Instead of that, right away, right from the jump, positive affirmations. You know, what is it that I'm reading? So I try to tell myself those things through good literature, and then I have principles, you know, that I'll try to counter, like we were talking about, to combat. You know, because motivation, I think, is difficult, and in the part of maintenance, I think everybody kind of starts out gun ho. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I ate my breakfast.
I didn't start off,
you know, you always
being a life motivator.
I think I heard they say, you know what? They say I want to eat. They say every time you had a good meal, every time you finish eating, that's when you start talking about I'm gonna eat my fruits and vegetables. But when you're really hungry, You know, that
I'm gonna eat them
McDonald's,
fruits and
that
vegetables.
McDonald's is, you know, is looking, no offense, you know, looking pretty good. Like, you just kind of give up on all those efforts, everything that you've been working on. You say, look, I'm really hungry right now. I'm willing to eat anything. And then, but right after, you know, once you satisfy that hunger, now you're all, I'm going to read this good book. I'm going to go to church. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a good mood all of a sudden. So, I mean, what happens to people's motivation, you know, when they're a little bit hungry and they're willing to eat whatever is available? And by eating, I mean reading, listening to all that.
We kind of hit on this in our first show, but garbage in, garbage out.
Wow, and that was good too.
Yeah, you got to think about that, because it works in all aspects of life. It doesn't matter. That concept in itself, and that's why I used it, you know, but it works in every aspect. So if you're feeding your mind good things, then good things will come to your mind. If you're feeding your body good things, then you're going to begin to see, you know, some differences in your health. You're going to see some differences in your energy level. You know, you may see differences, you know, hey, I'm starting to getting a little slender here. I notice, hey, I could finally see my cheekbone, you know, or whatever the case is. It goes right back to that. So like when it comes to literature, it's a great practice for you to grab a book or for you to grab something, but you have to remember it has to be something that is gonna produce some good fruits within you. You know, because if something isn't producing good fruits, if for example, if I'm seeking to be the best electrician, okay, if I'm seeking to be the best electrician, I'm not going to go to a plumber and say, hey, bro, can you teach me about this electrical? Chances are he's going to get me fried one day.
All I know is put the ground on the pipe, bro.
Right. That's
the
extent of what he's going to know. Okay. But I'm going to go to somebody who has proven results. I'm going to go to somebody who I know their expertise is in this area. If you know somebody is really terrible with finances, then there's no point in going to them and saying, hey, I need some help in reference to my money. You know, how do I balance my checkbook? How do I establish a savings? You know, can you help me with my finances? Chances are that the results that they got, you're going to get results, those exact same results. So if you want to have a better mindset, if you want to practice, you know, positivity, if you want to practice better forms of affirmation, if you want better results in your life, period, across the board, no matter what the area is, you have to go to sources that have proven results. You have to go to somebody who has fruits that are showing fruits of what you're aspiring, what your goal is, or whatever it is, to say, hey, you know what? I want to be successful like that. I want to have a mindset like that. I want to be a life motivator. I want to encourage people like that. I like that thing. You know what? I resonate with that. That resonates good with my heart. That resonates good with all right. Well, then you need to get with somebody who's going to give you those forms of affirmation. You need to get with somebody that's going to help you with that mindset, help to encourage you, help to uplift you, help build you up in the things, help you kind of work and sort out your mess internally, man. You have to go to the source that has proven results.
Yeah, so
just to anybody.
So I agree. I mean, there's lots of things that you can get out there. There's lots of books. There's the community. There's YouTube. There's podcasts. There's life motivation. There's more than words. There's all types of avenues that you can go down.
Little plug right there.
Plug that that you can go down, and you can listen to. You know, you can share these things. Sometimes you don't want to shake the hand of somebody. You can just share the podcast. I mean, show the love. There's all types of ways to stay connected. And with that, I mean, I want to just close, but we would like to stay connected, stay motivated. We would like to stay inspired. You know, make sure you're in combat mode, that you're countering your fears and your worries.
That's right.
Pick up a word, whether it be a good literature or the word, depending on what
the audience believe. And what they prefer. Right. You know, right. Exactly.
Just you gotta want it. You know, motivation is maintained, I believe, not just created. It's there and then it's gone. It's constantly, you have to create it.
Which is one of the reasons why we spoke about routine in our last segment. How routine is so important. If you build that routine within yourself, it'll pave the way for your day. Like I said, it'll pave the way to have that structure that's needed mentally, physically, spiritually speaking. You know, so it's up to you as a person. It's up to you as an individual to put these things into practice. You know, we started off the segment referencing, you know, all the things that, hey, what how do you help a person discover what they want? Well, do you really want it? Do you really, really want it? If you want it, then you'll dedicate yourself with it. If you really want it, then you'll build the routine. If you really want it, then you'll read great material. If you really, really want it, then you'll go to the right sources. That's how this works. That's how this operates. It starts and ends with your mindset, period. If you can get your mindset down packed, then the rest will follow. Bam.
So Julio, I want to thank you again for having continuing this conversation with me. It's always been a pleasure. I want to continue to have this conversation with you. And if you guys want to continue to have this conversation with us, please reach out to us, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
We're going to be everywhere before
YouTube,
you know it, plain and simple. Look.
So my name is Miguel Ortiz. Again, I'm with Julio Reyes. This is Life Motivation once again. Just nonstop energy. This has been great. Thank you, Julio, so much.
Got it. It's a pleasure, man.